guys, I got the water and the banana. Now it's time to recreate this routine like a fucking monkey! No one even cares anymore. No one's gonna watch this! Are you happy? Are you not entertained?
Back in March, a morning routine took over the internet, generating hundreds of millions of views and prompting thousands of recreations, journalistic pieces, and video essays. Ashton Hall became a name drowned in infamy. While videos of a muscular man getting ready for 5 hours, dipping his face in bowls of bottled water, and rubbing banana peels on himself are absurd and inherently hilarious, they also perfectly encapsulate the extremes of hustle culture and the problems that come along with it. Ashton Hall, despite gaining over 15 million followers on Instagram in mere months, has long since faded into the background of the ruckus discourse online. But the implicit messaging of his videos is still very much relevant. Recently, he was even on Chef Logan Paul's podcast, sparking yet another round of discourse about his ridiculous videos. What happens when pathological lies, individualism, a false promise of capitalist success, and a misunderstanding of self-improvement and health collide? Ashton Hall. Before we get into Hall's infamous morning routine videos, we need to go back in time a bit. 25 years back to the release of the renowned movie adaptation of the Bret Easton Ellis book, American Psycho. If you somehow don't know, Patrick Bateman, played by the legendary Christian Bale, is a sociopathic serial killer with some serious obsessive and compulsive behaviors. Intended to be a satirical depiction of consumerism and corporatism, the book, written by a gay, albeit very sexist man, and the movie, directed by a woman, have both been comically warped into a completely unironic symbol of extreme masculinity and hustle culture. It's just as well a woman-directed American Psycho. Roger Ebert correctly observed in 2000, Herons transformed a novel about bloodlust into a movie about men's vanity. Patrick Bateman, who is very obviously mentally ill, is heralded online for his negative personality traits, loneliness, obsessiveness, and a cold demeanor, all of which makes him the ultimate Sigma male. Bateman's vigorous and obsessive morning routine has been unironically recreated online for years by both men and women alike, who've taken his exaggerated efforts to reach perfection to heart. For instance, the looks-maxing community frequently uses Bateman as body inspiration. Gail Sekira wrote an inverse for the film's 25th anniversary. Constantly envying his fellow men, Bateman comes across as not quite human himself. To focus on his well-moisturized exterior is to fail to see how he's been corroded internally, consumed by thoughts of desperation-driven bloodlust, characterized by a disturbing lack of emotional depth. He's the ideal consumer, but a hollow shell of a man. He cares so much about utterly meaningless pursuits that he fixates on them to the point of torment. His insatiable desire for more can only be temporarily quelled by his homicidal excursions. In fact, this past year, the director of the movie, Mary Herron, commented on the internet's idolization of Bateman, comparing it to those who've read the Bible yet decide to kill a lot of people. In essence, the movie has been completely misunderstood. For her and many others, it's incomprehensible how someone could miss the fact that Bateman's character is intended to make fun of people like him. Yet still, men from all walks of life, from Wall Street bros to fitness influencers, aspire, intentionally or not, to become the hollow, masculine shell that is Patrick Bateman. Other movies like 1999's Fight Club or 2015's The Wolf of Wall Street have also been grossly misconstrued by men online. While their main characters don't have obsessive morning routines that can easily translate into morning routine content online, their themes and obvious satire have been butchered online in a fashion similar to American Psycho's. Brad Esposito wrote in Vice about the internet's obsession with Patrick Bateman. For most of the decade, Bateman was lumped into the bucket of Fight Club's Tyler Durden, later joined by Joaquin Phoenix's Joker and Leonardo DiCaprio's Jordan Belfort. A collection of lost toys that young men, in age or experience, use as watermarks for identity. The cultural curation and lionization of the character isn't new. Ask almost any man who has been a teenager since the film was released in 2000. But the way Bateman is being cataloged is. Ashton Hall's morning routines, whether or not they are real, mischaracterize what it means to be healthy and successful, eerily emulating Patrick Bateman's regimented routine. Intentional or not, it has the same impact on easily impressionable or ignorant viewers. Ashton Hall may be famous for his rage-inducing morning routine videos, but this wasn't originally in his plan. Ashton was actually a running back on his high school football team and went to a college in Mississippi to play. Ashton had dreams of being in the NFL, but was never drafted by any team, instead transitioning to personal training following his short-lived football career in college. As he says, God had a different plan for him. Although he would become well known for his online presence, Ashton has made most of his living from an online fitness coaching business, as well as from a supplement brand that he owns. Ashton offers 3 different tiers on his coaching website, from around $3,000 to $5,000 for a 12-month program. Although from what I could see, he has 0 actual training certifications. Who needs to be a certified trainer anyway? We could just be hot! Ashton's supplement brand seems to be more legit, selling your basic supplements like creatine, ashwagandha, whey protein, pre-workout, and L-glutamine powder at prices all comparable to his competitors. Before he went viral, Ashton already had a very strong social media following, around 2 million followers on Instagram and about 500,000 on TikTok. All this changed when one of his morning routine videos was reposted to the Twitter account, @TipsForMenX, going viral overnight and generating think pieces from every corner of the internet. Everyone from corporations to famous celebrities had something to say about this. An ominous image of a bottle of Saratoga water and a banana were even shared to the Empire State Building's official Twitter page. While Ashton's videos have continued to follow the same formula, let's first take a look at the video that started it all. Ashton supposedly wakes up at 4 a.m., mouth tape and all, and brushes his teeth, washing his mouth out with a bottle of Saratoga water. Ashton then goes out onto his balcony to do push-ups without warming up at all. In his detailed YouTube video following this video's virality, he states that this is for blood flow. Ashton breathes for 20 minutes, and then watches motivational Christian videos while doing Bible study before dipping his face into a bowl of ice water. 2 hours after he's woken up and accomplishing nothing, he finally decides to work out. Ashton then gets back to his apartment, peels and eats 1 single banana, rubbing the leftover skin on his face, and then at 9 a.m., 5 hours after he's woken up, he's ready to dip his face in ice water again before finally starting work, talking to no one about seemingly nothing and uttering a fateful phrase that would follow him for life. So looking at it, bro, we gotta get in at least 10,000. Finally, a headless woman serves him some breakfast and his 5th bottle of Saratoga water. How does this all sound so exhausting, despite the fact that he did absolutely nothing for 5 hours straight? I thought videos like this were supposed to display a perfect lifestyle filled with time hacks and health hacks to solve all of your life's problems. This just seems useless. Ashton saw the success of this video, and his videos since then have kept to this same kind of formula, if not becoming even more satirical. A video posted in September, for example, ends with him giving a religious seminar to no one, with claps clearly added over the video of him entering a small auditorium. He also conveniently, accidentally changes the timestamps in between arriving to this seminar, going from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. in a millisecond. No doubt prompting plenty of rage comments that are yet again accusing him of faking his content. That, or he's trying to recreate his diving board meme from the original video.
When you jumped in the air or you dived into the pool, the time changed for like 4 minutes.
So when I jumped in the pool, and I don't know if we're gonna put this one out there, all right? Because I haven't spoke on this one. But when I jumped in the pool, I see my editor editing, right? And I'm just like, I'm watching it. I'm like, you know what? Go back, change the timestamp, make it 4 minutes, because I want them to comment. It's just a joke, it's funny. You get what I'm saying?
Another morning routine video posted days after his sudden virality capitalized off of the comments left in regards to his business phone call. At the end of the video, he says, "You made your first 10,000, congratulations. Now we gotta do at least 20, bro." Even further proof that these videos are likely skits rather than anything actually real. It may seem like Ashton started making more of these kinds of videos after seeing the success of his original video. And while most of his content following that video has essentially become absurdist satire, Ashton has actually been posting videos like this for a while. A video from January 16th features a lot of similar aspects to his viral videos while being a bit less ridiculous and rage-inducing. Clearly, he's been trying to blow up for a long time. Ashton's videos all have very similar engagement hooks. Besides the obvious improbability that he does any of this at all, let alone at the time he says he does, Ashton's videos capture engagement for even more bizarre reasons. For one, he often accidentally drops his glass bottles of water, where a pre-positioned camera easily captures the incident. Oftentimes, the bottle shatters right next to his bare feet. In fact, Ashton shows his feet much more than any lifestyle creator needs to. He almost always shows himself putting on his shoes, pretty much always without socks. And he almost always shows himself getting out of a bath or shower with wet socks on. Some videos of his are even more explicit, with a few being partially dedicated to him getting a pedicure and another featuring him doing a debunked detox ritual, where he wraps his feet in onions for 15 minutes, carefully washing them afterwards. YouTuber Cat Black, who has discussed BDSM and fetish in the past, even made a video wherein she briefly speculates that Ashton's content is pandering to people with fetishes. as it's an easy and risk-free way to get more engagement on his videos. Even if someone watching isn't into feet, which I am not, they're probably going to comment something about his odd footwear choices. Everything about Ashton's personality is carefully curated. He knows what works. His evening routines are similarly ridiculous, with him spending 2.5 hours from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. getting ready for bed. One of the things that I find so interesting about his videos is that despite them adorning the hustle aesthetic, Ashton rarely shows himself doing anything of substance. In the videos showcasing his full days, they're often filled with him sprinting in open parking lots, eating out constantly, talking to seemingly no one on business calls, and partaking in self-care like journaling and skincare for what seems like the entire day. Ashton has 2 businesses. Doesn't he have clients to train, profits to turn? Or is his primary focus staging rage bait videos all day? While his videos are funny to clown about, Ashton's content has revealed a dark reality behind hustle culture. It may not seem like I'm saying anything new here, but I think that Hall's content in particular is the perfect example of the serious issues with hustle culture. Like all morning routine content, Ashton's videos show a carefully curated life, where nothing ever goes wrong, where life takes the backseat in order to make room for ridiculously absurd routines that have almost zero positive health benefits. If Hall actually gets up at 4 a.m. and spends 5 hours doing nothing, then I have no way to say whether or not it positively benefits him personally. But I can say, with almost absolute certainty, that no one needs to recreate his routine. And I can say, with certainty, that recreating it will not make you better looking, richer, and happier overnight, or like Ashton says, in a single year. If we look deeper at Ashton's content, you'll see how devoid of life it really is. Like how the satire that, as Patrick Bateman says, there is an idea of a Patrick Bateman, some kind of abstraction, but there is no real me, only an entity, something illusory. Phoebe Davis wrote for Tortoise Media, summing it up really well. The 85-second clip reveals how laughably unrealistic most influencer routines are. Even if they are achievable, how unfulfilling and friendless a life of alarm clocks, gym workouts, and self-actualization can be, and how men's wellness culture is following the same trajectory as women's, favoring consumerism, aesthetics, and faddishness over genuine health and well-being. Ashton implements multiple routines into his life that have little, if no benefit at all to someone's health. For one, Ashton is never seen drinking tap water, which doesn't make any sense since he lives in Miami, not Flint. His devotion to Saratoga water is likely a carefully crafted brand image, not only to attract the brand itself, but to make his brand instantly recognizable. Unless his water is also turning the frogs gay, there is no reason to drink bottled mineral water alone. Ashton also adorns the looks maxing mouth taping nightly routine, which he says has helped him with his mouth breathing. Now, mouth breathing overall is linked to poor health outcomes, so it is important to prioritize breathing through your nose, especially while sleeping. But there is limited evidence to support taping your mouth, especially while sleeping. In fact, there's even the possibility that if you have some kind of nasal obstruction or other breathing problems while sleeping, mouth taping could potentially lower your oxygen levels at night. In one video, Ashton even leaves his mouth tape on while working out, which is ridiculous and could even be dangerous. In reality, there is no right, proven passageway to breathe through while exercising. It probably matters more what kind of exercise you're doing than anything else. For example, when you swim, you kind of have to breathe through your mouth and out through your nose, or else you won't be able to keep your head underwater or over water for long. You may even stay underwater forever. As for the bananas, rubbing them on your face isn't necessarily harmful, but it might not help either. Dr. Hannah Kopelman, a board-certified dermatologist out of New York City, told Men's Health, rubbing a banana peel on your face has become kind of a viral skincare hack. And while it's not harmful for most people, the benefits are pretty minimal and not well supported by solid clinical evidence. And while dumping your face in a bowl of ice water can temporarily reduce signs of inflammation and temporarily tighten the skin, it's more of a mental thing than something that will greatly benefit your skin. If you like to do it, like Ashton clearly does, then by all means go ahead. Ice baths have also had mixed results. Evidence has actually shown that if you're looking to build muscle, ice baths may inhibit your muscle growth. Muscle growth comes from tearing the muscle, where it then repairs and hopefully grows back bigger. Ice water inhibits blood flow and reduces inflammation. And since muscle growth requires both adequate blood flow and inflammation, frequent ice baths may reduce your gains, although probably likely not by a lot. Ice baths in particular have become a symbol of hustle and manosphere culture, popularized in particular by muscular men like Mr. Ivermectin Rogan. For most people, they are uncomfortable, so dumping yourself in them is lauded by these men as a kind of accomplishment, like they've overcome some great challenge. Ice baths can be incredibly helpful to high-level athletes who need to improve their performance quickly, but will implementing them into your self-care routine improve your physical health? Maybe, but not in the implicit ways that content like Ashton suggests. Furthermore, if you're looking to bulk up like Ashton, they may not help you in the long run. All of this is coming from someone who loves ice baths. I just went swimming in 40-degree water 2 weeks ago simply because I love how it makes me feel. physically and mentally. I'm a bit of a psychopath. But if you have an aversion to ice baths, there's no reason to force yourself to do them in order to cosplay as Mr. Muscle Hall. Besides, I prefer the natural water. Nothing gets as cold as a lake in December in the Northeast. Now we come to the penultimate feature of these morning routine videos, the early, or incredibly early, actually, morning. Again, I want to say something about myself before getting into this. I am a morning person. I got up at 5:30 a.m. from 4th grade until high school graduation. I also have OCD. I always get up around 6 a.m., even on weekends. I prefer to have time to work out, shower, and eat before I have to work. And I like going to bed early. I prefer having time in the morning to myself, to work out, shower, and eat before I have to work or go somewhere else. I also like going to bed early. I've gone to bed in or after the double digits probably a dozen times in my entire life. I don't care if there's a fucking bomb outside. I'm not sacrificing my sleep for anybody. Indeed, I am big on health. It is important to eat well, get enough activity in, and sleep well. But you can do all that without forcing yourself to get up at 4 a.m. In fact, my passion for physical health is part of the reason why I hate content like this. What some people may not be aware of is that everyone's circadian rhythms are different, and they also change throughout your life. At the end of the day, everyone's different. Some people prefer to get up at 7 a.m. and go to bed at 11 p.m. Others are like me, and even fewer are like Ashton Hall and hate crime expert Mark Wahlberg. What kind of life are you living if you get up while most people in bed? Where you go to bed when infants do? Does Ashton really work better in this time frame? Or is he trying to emulate a boss who claims that getting up before the ass crack of dawn solved all of his problems? Ashton claims that sin lives at night, but I think the only thing that lives in the night is most people, of whom he rarely interacts with. Hall's content is filled to the brim with quick and possibly harmful hacks that will not benefit most of the population. Where is his advocacy for eating enough fiber-rich foods, seen as how only 7% of the American population meet the daily fiber requirements? Why doesn't Ashton talk about the importance of maintaining relationships when 30% of Americans feel lonely every week? You may think that I'm expecting too much from him, but when you post content like this, you are sending an implicit message. Do this and you will look like me. Do this and you will be rich like me. Do this and you will be successful like me. By virtue of having a conventionally attractive physique, attained through means unknown, people will believe that whatever Ashton does makes you healthier. But almost none of what he shares online guarantees immaculate health, and especially not immense wealth. Besides all of this, Ashton's videos rarely feature anyone else. The most we see of other people is the occasional headless woman, cooking him food, helping to dress him, or cleaning up shattered glass near his naked feet, limiting the role of women in his life to a motherly-like role. Ashton seems to pride himself on being a hard worker, but he doesn't do any of the work associated with living, like cooking or driving. Instead, he seems to live in an exclusive class of people who don't need to work hard, yet they pretend to know what struggle looks like. Well, why else would they need to torture themselves? Life for the rest of us is hard enough. I don't want to add unnecessary sleep deprivation to it. I never see Ashton partake in any hobbies besides ones that easily fall under the self-care umbrella. Does he read anything other than the Bible? Does he watch movies or go outside? It seems like his life is lifeless, with him spending hours alone in sterile spaces while never surrounding himself with anyone but himself and the cold self-care that he practices. Ashton's videos are also inextricably linked to his version of masculinity. It's clear that the societal expectation for masculinity has changed, or maybe just shifted a bit. Because while Ashton and his corner of men believe that self-care makes you a hardworking man devoted to endless self-improvement, most traditional men you'll meet in real life would still call this gay. It is true that back in the day, there was much less of an expectation that men would religiously take care of their skin, work out, and journal. But I'm not sure that this new masculinity is as widespread offline as people may think. Not only that, but it still exhibits all of the harmful aspects of manliness. American society has been obsessed with fitness and beauty for decades, but for much of that time, such preoccupations were considered unmasculine, writes historian Natalie Melfman-Peterzella. In recent years, those standards have been pushed into extremes, while the project of physical self-improvement has become all-consuming, says Robert Lawson, an associate professor of social linguistics at England's Birmingham City University and author of Language and Masculinities. To me, it seems like a quite sterile existence, one that doesn't have space for the messiness of real life, Lawson says. Furthermore, as Josiah Goguri wrote in GQ, historically, a marker of male success was being able to afford to do as little as possible, especially before noon. Glamorous aristocrats and playboys were more likely to be in the casino than in the gym in the early hours of the morning. There's definitely been a push online for men to participate in more self-care, such as washing their asses for once. A push for men to actually take care of themselves is good and all, but most of the content directing this change doesn't have good intentions. Ashton's videos are proof enough of this. They're lonely, unrealistic, and dripping in bad or neutral health habits. The drive for self-care isn't coming from a place of caring about oneself. It's coming from a place of work hard and be successful, even if it kills you. And if you don't work hard enough, you're not good enough. And if you're not good enough, then you didn't work hard enough. Women's health and fitness content suffers from similar issues, but it doesn't have the same themes of male masculinity. It's not surprising that a woman would be vain enough to take care of herself, but a dude? That's weird. But is it really? In reality, this version of masculinity is almost identical to the version from 20 years ago, from 40 years ago. It's only morphed to fit the current status quo. But it's still the status quo. Are these ideas of masculinity completely unaccompanied by homophobia, transphobia, or sexism? Or are they the same, except now they have a skincare routine? Masculinity today is influenced by neoliberal ideas, where a man's value is measured by his productivity and success. Practices like self-care are branded as discipline and performance-enhancing tools, used to construct the most optimized, competitive version of the male self. Ashton Hall may not describe himself as an alpha male, but in many respects he embodies the idealized neoliberal archetype of masculinity: physical strength, wealth, and material possessions. While Tate's displays of wealth and women are clear performances of masculine dominance, Hall's more restrained approach fits within the same hierarchy. Masculinity, or a changing idea of masculinity, isn't necessarily the problem. Rather, it's how it's shifting. What's in its implicit messaging? What communities are people, particularly men, being ushered into because they enjoy watching this kind of health and fitness content? Hell, the face of one of the biggest weightlifting channels outright admitted months ago that he thinks there's a racial hierarchy based on physicality. It's not a coincidence that content like Ashton's, while just on the surface is simple self-care and self-improvement, reveals far more insidious problems that affect everyone within our system. Hall's and content like his ties perfectly into the conservative Maha movement. Maha? What? Again, you may think that I am drawing extreme conclusions, but like these morning routines, Maha expertly diverts away from real health problems and, in turn, what actually needs to be changed for better health outcomes in America. Why take on the near impossible task of banning red food dyes when we could instead revolutionize our healthcare system? Why invest so much money into finding the cause of autism when we could instead make sure everyone can afford healthy food? Why tell people that a carnivore diet and ice baths can save their poor health when we could instead let people sit at work less, promoting a more active lifestyle? The answer to all of this is obvious. These people are only interested in fixing our problems, whether that's health, body image, or financial problems, as long as the solution keeps our corrupt system in place. Ashton is just a plaything for these capitalists and politicians, delivering the exact propaganda they want us fed. Hall may be old news to most people by now, but there will be more like him. And they will perpetuate these same outdated ideas, unspokenly leading people into extremism and false promises, because in the end, they're all a part of the same culture. Good health means taking time to rest, having ample time outside of work to be active and present with a community of people, and being financially stable. Not whatever the latest alpha male influencer is pushing, because that's all they are at the end of the day. Influencers. Well, that's it for me, and that's it for this video. By the time you're watching this, my Patreon sale has been activated. I'm doing a Black Friday sale for almost all of my Patreon tiers. It's lasting from November 14th to December 6th. The code is Friday. All caps, just Friday. So if you want to become a member of any of my beta or above tiers on Patreon, the link will be down below, and you can use that code to get 20% off of your first month on Patreon. I would really appreciate it if you check my Patreon out. I'd be really interested in hearing all of your takes on this video. Please comment down below anything you want to comment down below. I want to give a big shout out to my Patreon members who are part of my Alpha and Delta tiers. Thank you so much to Dallas Andrade and Lisbeth Ruiz. I really appreciate your continued support. It means a lot to me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you like me, you can subscribe. I post videos about whatever I feel like talking about. So if that's the sort of thing, make sure to subscribe and turn the notification bell so you know when I post a video. Really hope all enjoyed this video, but more importantly, I really hope I see you in the next video. If you're not watching my next video, I will cover your house in bananas. I'll find a way to do it. I really hope you're watching the next video, alright? You'll be there, right? Alright.